Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of the Women, Money and Impact IG Live series. My name is Kelsey. I am a money and mindset coach. And today we're going to be talking about how to keep your sanity as a solopreneur. And we have a guest today, and that is Emmani. To everyone who's joining us, so today we're going to be talking about how to keep your sanity as a solopreneur. If you are not a solopreneur, if you're just busy, like overwhelmed, I'm sure that a lot of people are feeling overwhelmed, especially when it comes to work, comes to chasing after your goals. Today's episode is all about that, how to manage the stress and how to, more importantly, live anxiety free, right? So I have Emmani join us today. She is an anxiety coach, and perhaps Emmani could share with all of us, how do you get to do what you're doing today, and just a little bit background about yourself.
Okay, so I'll start with my story. So I was misdiagnosed with bipolar disorder about 4 or 5 years ago. And then, I was in college at the time, so I was very stressed out and very anxious. And I graduated in December 2020, so recently. Um, and then I met a holistic doctor who I found. Um, and he re-diagnosed me, telling me, why are you on these medications? This is not what's going on. So that's when he diagnosed me with anxiety. So now I'm an anxiety coach because I don't want anybody else to go through that. But that has nothing to do with my major, which is totally fine. But yeah, that's what I'm doing now. I'm trying to teach people how to live anxiety free. After 5 years, I'm no longer on medication, so I'm only taking natural remedies. So life is good.
That's good. I mean, how did you come to realize that no, this is something that you need to go to the doctor for, and like what was the symptoms before? And now, right now, you mentioned that you are now just on natural remedies. Like, maybe you can share with us a little bit about the process. How did you even discover, right, that you actually have this anxiety issue?
So when I went to my aunt's house, this was when I had just graduated. I had just finished, college and everything. So I was trying to get re-diagnosed because I didn't think, I was bipolar. There was no way I was bipolar. And I was looking for all different types of doctors. I was talking to my family, and I'm glad that I have a good relationship with them. Otherwise, I wouldn't have noticed the symptoms. I wouldn't have noticed that there's no way I'm bipolar. So it was a lot of very clear communication and advocacy on my part. I recognized I didn't want to go outside. I wanted to stay in my room. So I would talk to my old doctor, and she just wasn't hearing me. So I just kept reaching out to people, and I was like talking to one of my specific family members who actually has anxiety, and we ended up taking the same medication for a while. And when I started taking it, like we just talked about how I was feeling physically and mentally, and that's when I realized, it was definitely anxiety.
How did you manage through that journey? So right now you're not on medication, right? Like, what would you say is the transition to like eventually getting off those medication?
That is a huge, huge question, but it was a lot of decreasing my medication over time. Very, very difficult. Because when I would tell my doctors, oh, I'm feeling this type of way, they would not believe me. They'd be like, okay, well, let's increase your medicine. I'm like, what? So I met this holistic doctor. He's very attentive. Like anytime I needed to like schedule an appointment, he'd be like, okay, let's go. And like I told him about ashwagandha. So it's a natural supplement. It's like the Goli gummies that I am sponsored by. And so I told him like, hey, I've been taking this. It's so much better than what I'm taking now. And like he would just take in everything I was saying, would just listen and just be like, okay, um, let's try this. I know you've been on all types of different medicines before, but let's just try it, see how it goes. Contact me in a month. I was doing great. So he was like, there's no reason why you need to be on medication. But if something changes, let me know. Because usually I would get really anxious around November because it's the holidays. And I've had a lot of death during the holidays. So it just caused a lot of memories to come back. But that was the process. It was a lot of weaning me off, the long process, but now I'm just taking natural supplements and stuff.
That's awesome. So so what would you say would be a process to manage through, like to wean off the medication eventually? Like, and I know like you are now an anxiety coach. Like, what would be some of the tips you would give someone who's also struggling with anxiety? Like, do they have to also take those medications like you did in the past before? Like, how would you, I mean, how would you go about coaching your clients through the process?
There is no size fits all, right? A lot of people are in different um, steps in their journey. So for one, I'm just focusing on your second question. It really depends on where they're at. Some people have never been on medication. Some people have no idea what they're going through. They're just now learning to advocate for themselves. So what I would really do, because I emphasize that I'm not a therapist, I can't prescribe you medication. I can just coach you through what I feel like you should do based on my journey and my training. So personally, if you're on medication, that's something we can talk about. And we can talk about, who you're talking to now, like a therapist or a psychologist or whatever, a psychiatrist. So it really depends because like there's people who are on really, really heavy medication like I was, and they're not even on the medication they're supposed to be anyway.
Yeah.
But there's no harm in recommending, like the Ashwa Goli gummies because that's natural. You won't have any side effects. I have a new page where I talk a lot about, goal setting. So you can do journal prompts. You can take like 5 minutes out of your day before, eat breakfast and stuff, get your thoughts out, setting goals, talking to people who are really close to you, encouraging them, just doing anything to really just distract your mind. So by the time you're done all of this stuff, you're like, oh, I forgot I was anxious, and that's what really helped me. Yeah.
Yeah. So, as you're running this business yourself, and I'm sure like a lot of solopreneurs out there, like all building businesses on Instagram, like what are some of the common stressors you have seen so far, and like even for yourself included, right? And then how are you going about managing those overwhelm and anxiety that comes about when building your own business?
So I have a lot, but I have found my passion in graphic design. So really that's just creating content, especially through Canva and other stuff. But one of the things that really used to stress me out is not knowing what to post, not knowing what to say, or just being like, no one's gonna pay for my services or even listen to me. I think I know what your question was, for why I'm an anxiety coach. So I remember someone saying, if someone is coming to you for advice for free, you might as well go for it and expand on that and make, money off of it. And what really helped me determine that I wanted to do this was so many people coming to me and telling me, I wish you would have talked about your story sooner. That wouldn't help me personally because I just don't talk about my business, but it really did help. And so I really thought that was a good start. But one of the stressors is really finding the right people to help you. I used to have, a few people helping me, but we didn't really connect the way I wanted to. So just being able to tell people your vision and have them really see it with you versus trying to, I don't want to say pretend, but really just go with the flow,
Yeah.
And then knowing what to invest in. So yeah, that's a big one because, we talk about money. This is my third business coach I am investing in, which is, a lot since just January, but it's also helped me to learn what I'm not doing correctly and what I can learn from. And then realizing it takes time to find that special person or special coach that's really gonna help you through hey Ashley, who's gonna help you through the journey because it really depends on what kind of coaching style you want.
Yeah.
And then lastly, just allowing yourself to just know that I don't want to say failure, but there is going to be some bumps in the road, and you're just going to have to accept it, laugh at it, laugh at yourself,
Yeah.
and just be like, you know what? I have a couple hours in the day left. Let me do something that's going to make me feel good. Let me do something I know I can accomplish. And then by the time tomorrow comes, I can do something much bigger, much more difficult.
Yeah, that is so important. Like one of the things I coach my clients is basically to learn to treat each failure as a feedback, right? Like I think it's so easy. Like, I mean, it's just a simple advice that each failure is a feedback, but it's so hard to implement it because you actually have to process a lot of the negative emotions like disappointment, right? Shame, like rejection. All these are negative emotions that all of us are actively trying to avoid, right? And like a lot of times, once you learn how to truly master those emotions, you can then consistently take actions. Like I think a lot of people tend to prefer to procrastinate or like, just scroll aimlessly on social media or like just constantly watch Netflix instead of doing whatever they need to do, right? Like be pursuing their dreams, building their business, or like even just learning a new skill, like something that they really want to do. But a lot of people prefer to, spend time watching Netflix. So apparently, like in 2021, I just researched, people spend at least 3.2 hours watching Netflix every single day. That's insane, right?
I mean, it's not surprising. So like for me, I just announced a win that yesterday and the day before I planned 40 things of content, right? In like an hour or two. And I did the captions and everything. So my drive was, you really want to watch, I don't know, I've seen Grey's Anatomy, but I love that show, so I'll watch it again. But if you want that one episode, finish your content, because then you'll be like a month ahead of everybody else. You won't have to stress about it. Exactly. So yes, we spend a lot of time on Netflix, but there's nothing wrong with it as long as you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, or at least making a goal and then rewarding yourself with it later rather than watching it all day. Unless you're, you just need to have one of those days like,
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. I mean, I watch Netflix every day too, but it's just that you get stuff done that you can enjoy and you get stuff done. I think that's the key, right? Like finding that balance as with everything in life is really just finding that balance. So this series is all about like women, money, and impact, right? So like I really want to know, what is your view? What is the impact that you really want to create? As you pursue this, like as an anxiety coach, what is the impact and the legacy that you want to create?
Yeah, so I've been thinking about that way before I even started coaching. And the reason I even spoke about my story was like, it's not fair that people like me have to go through this, or anyone, right, that has to go through this. And like, not everybody has a supportive family like I do, or they don't have anyone to go to. So I was thinking, why not me? Why can't I be that person that is that voice for people who don't have a voice, at least not yet? And honestly, that's when all the feedback and all the, oh my gosh, wait, what? You look so well put together. Like, I would get that all the time, and I just be like, are you sure you're talking about me? But that's the type of impact I want to make, being able to just change at least one person's life, right? And being able to really just be like, this is my story. I don't want you to go through the same thing, or I want you to go through it differently and better, if that makes sense. Like, I don't want you to do the same things I did that I shouldn't have done. I don't want you to go off your medicine, without your doctor's permission. I don't want you to do this, that, and the other. I want you to grow from my mistakes and be better. So by the time someone hears your own story, somebody else can be like, oh, well, I didn't give up because I heard what you went through. So making an impact to make an impact.
No, 100%, 100%.
Yeah.
And I think that's the most meaningful way to live. Like,
Mm-hmm.
right, like us helping another person, another individual. I think that is the most noble way to live. Like, it's so meaningful. And I think that's what a coach is really about. Like, I do see, like, especially in the coaching industry, where there are coaches that are directing you right or wrong. Like, and that's not supposed to be the case. And there are coaches that will like put you down just because like you're not there yet.
Yeah.
Right. And I think like what a good coach really is to empower their coachees, like whoever they're coaching, to be even better version than the coach him or herself, right? So I totally agree with what you said. And that's a beautiful message there. And I sincerely wish like all the best for your business and like
Thank you.
to everyone that is like struggling with this issue. Like I think what really strikes me the most of your story is like how, because the doctors misdiagnose you and then like you eventually finding your own way to wean off those medication and like eventually find a sustainable way for you to manage through the anxiety. I think that is really powerful because there are a lot of people who don't exactly know like if they're being misdiagnosed or like, if this is correct, if I should even listen to my doctor. And a lot of times I had received a lot of medication for my eczema skin issue as well. And then like I realized that all these stuff is not really helping me at all. And eventually similar to you, I found my natural way to wean off all those medication. And it takes a lot of trial and error. And I think like having a coach is definitely useful.
Oh yeah. So just trusting your gut. And I never ever trust my gut, but I was just like, I don't feel right. And I would talk to one of my mentors at my old college. And she was like, nothing else will be right until you feel right. Yeah. So I heard her. I did what I was supposed to. She was basically like, do not follow up with me until you find a new doctor. So we can talk about like the next steps. And really that just like changed my life, just having somebody trusting me. Like she has no idea, and she always tells me she has no idea what I was going through, but if I come to her with an issue, she's gonna find a way for me to fix it or solve it. So yeah,
that's awesome.
I have a podcast talking about issues we're uncomfortable talking about to bring.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks, Emmani. Thank you so much for coming on live today.
No problem. Thanks for having me, and have a great weekend.
You too. Thank you. Bye-bye.